Florida is once again attempting to scare universities into cutting out massive chunks of their curriculum to benefit benefit Donald Trump. Well, probably Donald Trump, but Ron DeSantis in his ideological quest to root out the woke in Florida. So he's pushing these universities' board of governors to comply with all of these standards that are supposed to stop wokeness and DEI and all of that stuff. And so they had previously, back in 2023, signed a bill banning DEI initiatives in public colleges. Because as you know, Florida is a state that is constantly racked with hurricanes and faces a dark future when it comes to climate. So obviously the biggest threat facing them is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think we can all agree on that. So the bill called for a, quote, review of general education offerings to ensure the courses stray from teaching identity politics and avoid unproven, speculative, or exploratory content. Obviously, at universities, we would never want any discussion of anything that was speculative or exploratory. You're not supposed to like think about what might be or consider options. It's a university, come on. You're supposed to only talk about what's already been proven, while acknowledging that it would never be proven if people hadn't engaged in exploratory or speculative thought previously. So I think this is a recipe for never learning anything new, or increasing the sum total of our knowledge about the world, but I don't think he's really worried about that. So here is what he said about the bill. If you look at the way this has actually been implemented across the country, DEI is better viewed as standing for discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination, and that has no place in our public institutions. And I love that because it gets to the sort of core hypocrisy of what they say about this stuff. So they say, we can't do identity politics. It's racist, it's woke, I don't like it. And I don't like DEI because that's discriminating against white people. Hey, white people, don't you hate this DEI? Hey, white people, wouldn't you like to vote based on, it's just identity politics. That's literally all it is. Identity politics as a term means anyone caring about any aspect of their identity that is not white, straight, middle class or upper class, abled, all cisgendered. That's all it means. It is defined as you're not talking about the ones we like, you're talking about other stuff, and that's bad. That's literally all it is. And so they go even vaguer than that. So in trying to root out those sorts of teachings in universities, a lot of classes are no longer going to be eligible for credit. And so when they're no longer eligible for credit, obviously fewer people will sign up for them. And it's entirely possible, probably likely, that they will no longer be offered eventually. And so here are some of the courses just chosen at random from the list that might be cut. Chinese calligraphy, myth, ritual, and mysticism, women in literature, humanities perspectives on gender and sexuality, social geography, history of food and eating. I don't even know what the history, like, did the word taco appear in the book? Like, what is it that hurt you about history of food and eating, Ron DeSantis? And I love the mix there. So they'll be like myth, ritual, and mysticism. That seems fake. Let's not worry about that. Bearing in mind that they're religiously dogmatic, the fact that they have an issue with ritual and mysticism, I don't understand. But women in literature, you're not, like, we just in general can't, some of them are white. Are those ones okay? No, we can't even do those ones. Okay, no women in literature. I want you to bear in mind, everyone, because I know there's probably some conservatives that see this and they're like, well, that's indoctrination, okay? We don't need little kids learning about this is college. It's the last time anyone learns anything. At what point? Like, this is how they get you. First, they're like, well, obviously a second grader can't know that their teacher is like a lesbian or whatever. It's totally cool if they know that they're straight, but they can't know that they're a lesbian. That's only a 2-year-old. We can't teach this stuff in high school. They're not even grown yet. These are full-grown adults. They can be serving in the military at this point. They can own homes, they can start businesses, but they can't learn about calligraphy. They can't learn about, I don't know, Jane Austen or whatever. Like, think about the infantilizing that's going on. And this is indoctrination, okay? Indoctrination is not just the government having a list of you have to learn this. It's the government having a list of things you will not learn, you shall not learn, okay? And that's the bait and switch that they're playing. Florida Gulf Coast University is removing 40 courses. That is a quarter of all of the courses that they offer. And I understand that the right is not worried about this dark vision of what higher education could be because they believe that colleges shouldn't exist. You should be trained to spin a gear in a factory until you're replaced by a robot, and that's it, okay? Your brain is not supposed to enter into it, okay? They don't care about that. But for the rest of you, is this the future that we want? Do we want everyone, okay, to go through college, no creativity, no speculation, no thinking outside of the box, no trying to understand things that might have been taken for granted, none of that. There will be no imagination, there will be no development, there will be no expansion of human knowledge. No. Cogs in the machine, that's it, okay? And if we can get to the point where you can operate these machines without needing to go to college, we'd really prefer that too. I understand why a political party that only cares about the interests of CEOs would like this concept for higher education. I don't understand why other people would go along with it. Bear in mind, by the way, the rich right wingers, their kids, they're going to go to Ivy League schools. They're still going to go to Harvard and MIT and all of that stuff. This is them weeding out where your kids will be able to go, where your kids will be able to afford. They don't want them to learn. They don't want them to expect more, to hope for more, to demand more. They want less. That's the indoctrination that we're seeing. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?